of April. Unbelievable. We got a great week coming up. We got 420, the celebration of fucking potheads. So Thursday we'll be walking around like fucking Dawn of the Dead, all gacked the fuck up, paying $100 per joint in New York City. But it's good. It's fun. Hopefully we'll have some great weather. And that's it. We got a whole new week with a whole new fucking set of rules. It's a Monday motivation. This Monday, ready for this? We got a fucking guest. Dun, 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 dun. The author of Tremendous, Miss Erica motherfucking Florentine. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm happy that you're here and stuff. I wanted just to ask you some questions to give people. We wrote a book together. I talked. She wrote it and put it together. She's the real mastermind behind the book. Mm-hmm. We released it May 2nd. You know, we've been working on it for 2 fucking years. Before I met you, I was making notes for 10 years, didn't know what to do. And it was just the perfect collaboration. You know, it's funny, just to let you know, this was a very hard book to write because it just wasn't one element. There was so many elements of this book. Just to let you guys know about LA, how I tell people that they don't know dick about dick. I was stuck for years trying to write this book. And there's a lady who advertises huge in the writing community in LA. Like she spends tons of money on advertising. Her goal is to help me finish writing your book. Blah, 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 blah. She charges you this much, and it's very reasonable. I finally contacted her like about a year before I came here. I was stuck, and she was mutual friends with acting coach Ivana Chubbuck. They had a lot of programs working through her school. So I contacted her, met her for lunch, you know. She showed up like with fucking 3 assistants, you know. I mean, it was guys. It was one to hold coffee, the other one to hold the dog, and the other one to hold the phone. And listen, I wish I was exaggerating. I wish I was fucking lying to you people. It was like sitting with her, and meanwhile, she had to be tipping the scales at 400. She had like a donut, a crumb bun, and a fucking Starbucks that looked like a fucking tub of ice cream. And 3 assistants. And she was talking to me and then going, hold on, send Johnny a text. Send Johnny Depp a text. I'll meet him for lunch on Thursday. And then, Amelia, watch it with Fifi, you know. And, the coffee, I don't understand. Put some more. It was fucking. I thought I was getting put on. Like I thought, and it was like $500 for the fucking consultation. Oh, like just to meet with, it was $500 for this fucking, you know, limo. And you're like, what the fuck? And she read. I spoke to her. She called me a week later. And she goes, after much discussion with my colleagues, you either have to pick this. You have to pick a subject here. We cannot do the criminality and the comedy and the cocaine and the kidnapping. It will not work, you know, with the... Yeah. And I was like, okay, thank you for your time. And then she tried to give me an ear beat. And like, you know, if you wanted to work, I'd have to refer you to myself. It would have to be like a 3-woman project. And I would need 9 assistants, you know, one to sharpen my pencil. I mean, it was fucking comical. I still see this lady putting ads up. I'm telling you this because I want you to really understand what you did. I still see this lady putting ads up. I still get emails from her. Come to my workshop, how to write a book in 3 days. You know what I'm saying?
It's a scam.
It's a fucking, that's just to let you know. I went through, you know, I signed with an agent out of New York. And it was, you're not even going to believe this shit, guys. Because we don't, you know, it's like, I tell Mike some stories sometimes. He's like, how come I didn't know that? Because, Mike, I was going through so much at the time. I never had time to tell people how hard it was to put this book together. First, I had a guy that was a consultant. This guy didn't even write with a pen. He still had a feather. You know, he wrote this guy wrote everything. He wrote the Declaration of Independence. He wrote I mean, if you listen to him, you know, he helped this guy with the script, you know. It was a fucking nightmare. He would tell me, nobody wants to hear about the criminality. Nobody wants to hear about the cocaine. It was fucking sad. I had that guy, and he would rewrite all my shit and send it back to me, and it sounded like my book was getting written by Robin Hood. Like, I went to the valley of the darkness. There's no darkness in Jersey, motherfucker.
You sound like a poet.
You guys just have no idea. This went on and on. Then I got a book agent that was going to put me with 2 writers. Those 2 writers were god-awful. One guy showed up with flip-flops, and he was picking his toes while he was talking to me on 43rd Street and 8th one time at a coffee shop. Picking his toes with the fucking pen. Okay? I don't know. And he was like sniffing it, and then he would go deep in his toe. Even I don't do that shit in public. In public, I do it in private.
You got a special pen too.
No. So then I have a comedy showcase, and he goes, I want to bring the book office to the comedy showcase at the stand. This is the old stand.
Yeah.
Erica, he comes in looking like you did today, beautiful. And within minutes, he looks like Uncle Dan. He's disheveled. He's got 2 beers in his hand. He's talking about the next cover. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The next thing you know, I try to get him out of the comedy club. And he goes, come on, let's go next door to a bar. I know these people. He goes next door. He asked the bartender for a drink. You could tell he annoyed the people there. The bartender just turned his head and went the other way. You know what this motherfucker did? He went behind the bar and started making his own cocktail. A fight broke out in this bar. And here I am by the stand. I have no idea where I am. And there's a fight in this fucking bar because the guy I walked in there with decided to go behind the bar and make his own fucking drink. Then they called the stand and they said shit about me, which even the people were like, he didn't do anything. I wasn't even drinking. I don't even drink. That was what I went through. It was constant.
It's crazy.
It was constant. Then I had people who would just contact me, like the podcast, and go, I'm a writer and I live in San Diego. I had a girl who was committed. I'm doing this. Disappeared.
Crazy.
Disappeared. Then I had another girl who was, went to, what's the big school they all go to in LA? CSU, what is it?
USC?
USC.
Yeah.
USC, I was valedictorian,
Yeah.
I created the Kardashians, oh my God. She wanted me to write the book, but doing one-man shows. So every week, I would have to go on stage at the something theater, right next to a weed store. I still get emails from this loser theater. They do like Halloween shows all year round. The guy's like a ghoul fest, like he's into ghouls and shit. I'm sorry I'm fucking taking from your time, Erica, but I just wanted to show you how valuable you were to me.
I appreciate that. I mean, I think the thing is a lot of people say that they're writers, and a lot of people, unfortunately, are not writers. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best in the world, right? Everyone has lots of things to learn still, but I have come across so many people who tell me they're an expert writer and they've done all these sorts of things, and then you have them do a 2-pager to give you a sense of what their style is, and it's not writing. I think it's, you know what it is? It's like, I would say right around the time I was graduating college, probably like 2009 timeframe, blogs became so big. So anyone with a keyboard could be a writer, right? And if you had some sort of degree that could match with it, you didn't necessarily have to have a journalism degree. You can have some sort of communications degree in general, or maybe even not. And you can just market yourself as a writer. And, it's also funny too. I'm thinking of all these people who claim that they can write these books. So now I've been ghostwriting books for a few years. And if you do a Google search, people will say, oh, I'll write your book for $500. How are you going to write somebody's book for $500? That's not a quality piece of work that you're going to get for that. But yeah, they just market themselves that way and then upsell you on things that have nothing to do with writing. It's a whole thing. At the end of the day, I always think if someone's trying, especially to pull a memoir together, they're important life stories, you have to work with somebody who is on the same train of thought as you, who's not going to guide you away from, don't tell your criminal stories. Those are part of your story. Somebody telling you not to tell that is silly. They don't know your audience. Your people love your criminal story. I mean, come on. And also, I've shared bits and pieces just within my close circle, people that aren't familiar with some of your criminal stories or other things in your past that have read it and they're like, I cannot wait to read the rest of how this is going to play out. I told some of my friends, I'm like, there's one chapter, it's called The Kidnapping. And they're like, what do you mean? We can't wait to see what the kidnapping is about. Like people are living for this. And, anyone who would guide you away from telling important stories are just silly. I don't know.
I mean,